guys, it's the Green Crown here. This week's video is completely nothing to do with anything that is usually on this channel, but then again, it's anything really to do with what was originally supposed to be on this channel. It's just sort of descended into like whatever I want to post. But this is a video on how to read more. I think especially if you're doing something like English, or if you're doing a course which has a required reading list and you're not someone who usually reads a lot, then it's kind of difficult to be able to get into the swing of it. But as someone who reads maybe 30-40 books a year, then I thought I could impart some tips and some knowledge into how I do that and how you can do that as well. My first tip is one that you'll hear everywhere when you're trying to learn how to do anything or just sort of be better at anything, and that is set a schedule. I read before I go to sleep, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. It does make you sleep better, but I've started associating reading with sleeping, so now if I read more than about a chapter, I just like fall asleep. It's awful, especially in English class. But if you just sort of know that you're going to be on the bus every day and you've got like half an hour to wait, then read then, or read when you wake up, or sort of if you know that you've got half an hour I don't know, on a lunchtime or when you get back from school or college or whatever, then just pick a time where you know you're going to set aside to read. If you can't do it every day, that's fine, you know, there's special circumstances, but on normal days, just pick a time when you know you're going to be able to do it. Tip 2 is pretty similar, and that's be consistent. I think it would be a good aim to read 20 pages of a book a day, but if you're not someone who's used to doing that, then that's going to be really difficult at first and it might put you off straight away, so maybe work it up. Just read 5 pages a day for a week or so till you get used to that, and then 10 pages and work your way up to 20. And even after that, if you have any more spare time at the end of those 20 pages, then read a bit more. The more consistent you are, the more sort of a habit that you're going to get into, and the more natural it's going to become, and the easier it is going to be able to pick up a book and just read for half an hour. Number 3 is also a pretty similar tip that you're going to hear if you're trying to be better at anything, and that is get rid of distractions. You'll probably know that if you're revising or whatever, then as soon as your phone goes off, then you're pretty much gone. You're out of the zone and you're not going to be able to pick up where you were for at least 15 minutes afterwards. So my advice would be to not necessarily turn your phone off, just put it somewhere where it's not easily accessible, and just make sure that your laptop's not next to you and you're not in a really sort of busy or loud place, or you're sitting with your friends or whatever, because the easiest way to be able to read large chunks at one bit is to be able to completely immerse yourself, because as soon as you get into the story or into whatever you're being told, then you don't really notice that you're reading it anymore. But if you can't do that, then you're aware of every single page that you're reading, every word that you're reading, and it's just going to be insufferable if you don't like it. So just try and get rid of a distraction so complete immersion can happen. Tip 4 is to reward yourself, whether this is you're allowed to go on your phone after 20 pages, or you can have a chocolate when you finish the chapter, just anything like that. What I do when I'm revising, because I read because I like it, is that after 15 minutes I'm allowed to watch a YouTube video, so I'll get like 15 ready, and then every 15 or 20 minutes, or maybe half an hour depending on how much I've got to do, I'm allowed to watch a YouTube video. Just little things like that which mean that you're more motivated to do it quicker and to get to the end of the goal that you set yourself. I'm calling number 5 motivation, but actually what I mean is Booktube. If you guys didn't know, there is a whole section of YouTube dedicated to people talking about books and what they recommend and what they thought of other ones and book hauls and things like that. I really like watching those videos when I'm in a reading slump, and you'll know what that is if you watch Booktube videos, or you can kind of infer from what it's called. Anyway, some channels that I would like to recommend if you don't watch them are Book Utopia, PERSUEPROJECT, and Little Book Owl. I will put links to those in the description if you want to check them out. But there is hundreds of channels out there, so you just need to find someone that you like and watch one of their videos and just get inspired to read. Number 6 is pretty straightforward, and that is take reading one book at a time. It can get really confusing if you're reading more book than one, It can get really confusing if you're trying to read more than one book at once. and you quite often spend a lot of time trying to decide, well, which book should I read tonight, and that kind of thing. And as well as it being less confusing if you only read one at once, it also means that you're going to finish books quicker, and that's sort of more motivating, because if you finished a book where you think, oh, well, I finished this one, that wasn't so bad, I can move on to the next one now. It's just all around easier if you just read one book at a time. Number 7 is to take a book with you when you go out. I pretty much always have one in my backpack when I'm at college. This is especially useful if you have a Kindle. You can just put that in a handbag or whatever, but if you know that you're going to have half an hour on the bus or whatever, as said before, take advantage of that. And sometimes you end up sitting in queues or having to wait for something, or something is cancelled, and you've just got nothing to do but sit on your phone. Rather than using that time on your phone, why don't you use it to read instead? You could even read on your phone if you want, if you're too attached to leave it like me. Tip number 8 is to just use Goodreads. I know so many people who read a lot that just don't use Goodreads, and I think it is brilliant. It not only recommends books for you based on what you've read before and how you've rated books that you've read before, but it lets you review them, read reviews, see what your friends are reading, and you can also do this thing called Goodreads giveaways. And this is literally just thousands upon thousands of different books that people post on there for people to read and review, and you can just enter as many as you like. It's literally like 2 clicks. You just have to click that you want to enter and select your address. Once you've put it in, you just have to select it, and then you can enter as many as you like. I think I've got about 30 books free books from doing this, and it's brilliant. You get to read books before they come out, and they're free. They just turn up to your house. I honestly cannot oversell Goodreads. Get a Goodreads account. It's free as well. It's free to get, free to sign up. You can sign up with Facebook as well, so it'll probably take you about 4 seconds if you have a Facebook account. I am already demonstrating number 9 to you in this video, and that is to get comfortable. Finding comfortable reading positions, especially when you're reading a hardback book, is really hard. But as long as you have like somewhere you can sit where you know you're going to be able to find a comfortable position eventually, then you're probably going to be fine. And if you're really uncomfortable and you're just moving around all the time, then, as I said before, it's going to ruin that immersion, and that's really important to be able to read loads in one go. So if you find a comfortable place to sit, it's just going to make your life so much easier, and like, who wants to be uncomfortable, really? And lastly, if all else fails, try listening along to an audiobook for the first couple of chapters. Especially if you're reading a classic or a more famous book, you're probably going to get the audiobook on YouTube. And if not, you can get them really cheaply. I mean, you've probably seen thousands of adverts for audible.com. I know I have. But if you can't get past those first couple of chapters without the audiobook, just read the whole book like that. Just read along to the audiobook. And if you can't concentrate on that, why not listen to the audiobook? I mean, loads of people complain that, listening to the audiobook isn't actually reading the book and things, but you're getting the same information. And maybe that's going to be the thing that's going to motivate you to read a book properly next time. It really doesn't matter, as long as like you get the text into your brain somehow. So do not deny the power of audiobooks. That is all that I have for you today. If you have any more tips, then leave them down in the comments, and maybe I'll make another video if you guys leave enough of them, or if I think of any more, because I did have quite a few more than these. I just wanted to condense it, otherwise this video was going to be so long. If you like this video about books, I read a lot, and I really like talking about the books that I read, so if you guys would like to see that, then let me know by giving this video a like, or let me know in the comments, just whatever. I'm sure I'll get the message somehow. This has been The Green Crown. You can check us out at Facebook at facebook.com/thecrayons. I will also leave a link to my Goodreads accounts in the comments, because I've been talking about that today and I feel like I should show you that. I am not sponsored. I was listening back and it does sound a bit like an advert for Goodreads. It's not, I just think it's great. I hope that was really useful, and good luck with whatever you have to read. Bye guys!